Thank you guys so much for having us in the booth. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you guys pushing our product out there. I think all of you know how Sinkits, slot clips, and LC brackets work. I'll give a real quick demo. You understand the concept basically is you're going to drill a hole or cut a slot in the stone. For 3 cm stone, you're going to be going 5/8 of an inch thick with a 1/4 inch bit. The concept of Sinkits is really simple. This clip right here, all it does is hold it in place while your installers are underneath the sink, and you're going to tighten it with a nut driver. The force down to the sink holds the sink in place. It's a concept called static force that sometimes blows people's minds when they see it for the first time, but real simple. In terms of what we're pushing right now, our biggest focus is we want to get more Sinkits into the hands of fabricators that are buying CNC machines for the first time. That's the time that's easiest to get them to transition the way they do their sinks. Folks are using all sorts of things before that. We try to convert them, but it's often not very top of mind for them in terms of the cost in their business. But when they buy a CNC machine, they're making a huge commitment, and that's the biggest opportunity for them to save time, which is a big part of what we're selling here. These are probably not the cheapest way to install sinks, but we think they're the fastest and most efficient, and that's the way you save money, is by saving time on your labor. Right now we've got 4 different versions of the standard Sinkits. Super shorts for stainless steel sinks like this. XLs can go up to 1 1/8 inch of a thickness on a sink rim. We've also have a high rise, which goes up to 1 3/8 of an inch. We're not selling a lot of those, and they cost more to make, so we don't see a lot of demand for them, so we're pushing those very hard. Slot clips, these are mostly for hand tool guys. Same exact concepts. These can go up to 5/8 of an inch in terms of the thickness of the sink rim. We do have a high-rise slot clip that can go up to 1 1/8 inch in terms of thickness. There's a lot more competition in this world for the hand installation guys. But try to push these as much as we can. LC brackets, I know you guys sell a ton of these. They're great for all sorts of situations, repairs, situations where it's too tight to the cabinet, you don't have spot for a slot or a hole. I don't think I need to tell you guys too much about LC brackets. They fly off the shelf, fortunately, at the Grand Court stores. No changes in them. We're just trying to push them, get them out more. It's our fastest growing product. Sink strap is a product that was originally introduced with Regent, and we're selling more and more. It's not a big selling product. I think probably the biggest usage is for bigger, more custom sinks where you either don't have a great rim or you just want to have extra support. We've got a great video on our website of how to do it. Rather than me walking you through it, I think I would just say any customer that is doing something with a weird sink, point them to that video, or point the installers to that video, and it'll walk right through it. It's real easy. The best part about our sink strap product is it connects at the bottom with a nut and a bolt, and you can tighten it to get the sink fully up flush against the countertop just by turning a nut driver, not having to pull on anything. I think it's a lot easier than some of the other systems that are out there. That's pretty much it. I really appreciate getting time with you guys, hearing feedback from you and from the folks that are actually using our products every day is the most important thing for us. So thanks for having us in your store events. Thanks for having us here. And
what's the weight limit? Especially like we're getting a lot of cast irons, a lot of heavy sinks.
On the sink strap?
Of the clips.
The clip. So we say 120 pounds per clip.
Okay.
So that'd be 480 if you're using 4. Obviously you can use 6 if it's a really big sink. LC brackets, it's really tough to say because you're ultimately dependent upon the strength of the cabinet. We've never had issues with them, but if you use really cheap particle board and you load 3 people standing in a sink, you probably could figure out a way to bust that cabinet. But yeah, 120 pounds per Sinkit. The sink strap is also tricky because ultimately it depends on the strength of the cabinet. It's sitting on the top of the cabinet, so it's a lot more resistant. We usually say 400 pounds, but if you're using some other mechanical system as well, then you're going to have plenty of additional support. We fortunately have not had issues with any failures really, so folks haven't been testing us hard enough with
Hey Will, I got a question, actually from Joel just a minute ago. Can you real quick say why you might say Sinkits, the slot clips are better than go clips? Why there's a reason we sell one over the other?
There's a couple of reasons. You know, one, these are the original product. They're all made in the U.S. A lot of the competition that's out there is stuff that's made in China, and I think you just get a better quality product. you know, I think there's a lot of folks that have different reasons. They like the thickness of our slot. You know, it's ultimately comes down to an installer has a preference. They're used to using a product. They use a specific blade on a grinder, and that works for them every time. Yeah, it's, you know, original product, and I think it's a higher quality product.
Made in the USA.
Made in the USA. Yeah.
Was it you that had the depth gauge type for the drill?
We do. We still have that. Yeah. We don't really sell many of those, but we do have those, and can start pushing them. If you ever have folks that are, you know, having problems drilling holes by hand, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what is that exactly?
It's basically just a clamp that can go to gauge the thickness if you're using like a hammer drill. That's the biggest hesitancy of folks using Sinkits by hand, is that they're going to drill too deep, which makes sense. And why CNC machines are so often the way folks are drilling for Sinkits. Really, any feedback you guys have on anything going on with trends you're seeing, any, you know, positive, negative complaints, we'd love to hear it, because we don't hear a lot on a day-to-day basis.
We'll be here too.
I'm going to be here today. I'm actually not going to be here tomorrow, but I'm going to leave samples. So if you see anyone around the table, please encourage them to take samples. That's our biggest opportunity, is to get them in folks' hands and give them a try. And fortunately, most of the times they start using our products, they like them. So
Thank you
guys.
For slot kit?
The retail?
Yeah. For our
That's
$1, between $1 and $1.25, I think.
okay. So right in there.
Yeah. I think on the website it's $23.25.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you guys.